Hi, today's video is on conversions. We've already started with conversions using metric units, but now we have mixed units, English and metric, and we're going to see how that works. But before I begin, pause the video and print out the sheet of paper that's a link on Blackboard. So go ahead and print that out and follow along with me. You'll remember it better if you do it yourself. So, did you print it out? Good. Let's start this first problem. Convert 9.6 gallons to liters. So now we're converting gallons, which is English, to liters, which is metric. Notice at the top of the page, there's a whole bunch of conversions. Some you're familiar with. 1,000 milliliters is a liter, 1,000 meters is a kilometer, 100 centimeters equals a meter, and some you're familiar with from English units. Maybe you know there's 2 pints in a quart or 4 quarts in a gallon. And the others are converting English to metric, 3.78 liters to 1 gallon, and also some other units, 9.4 times 10 to the 7th mile equals 1 astronomical unit, or a time, 365 days equals 1 year. So let's use these conversion factors to solve these problems. So our first one is convert 9.6 gallons to liters. So we're going to start with 9.6 gallons. And put that over the number 1 to remind us it's in the top of fraction. And we can do this in one step if we know the conversion between gallons and liters. Here I have the conversion between gallons and quarts. That's not going to be as helpful, but up here I do have the conversion directly between gallons and liters, so I can do this problem in one step. Now I have to just figure out for this which goes on the top and which goes on the bottom. So I want to get rid of gallons because I don't want gallons in my answer. I want liters in my answer. So I'm going to put the 1 gallon on the bottom and the 3.78 liters on the top. The gallons cancel. I'm left with liters. I wanted liters, so I'm looking good. Now we just have to take out your calculator and multiply 9.6 times 3.78, and I get an answer of 36.288 liters. But remember, we learned about significant figures, so I can't write all these digits out. I have to go by sig figs. So this 9.6 has 2 significant figures. This 1 does not count as part of significant figures. It wasn't a measured value. It was just there to remind me that's a fraction. Converting from liters to gallons is metric to English, so that is not a definition. So this counts for our significant figures, 1, 2, 3 significant figures. The per gallon does not count, like miles per hour. If you're going 55 miles per hour, the 55 was measured, the 1 is considered an exact number. Here, 3.78 is the measured value and the 1 is the exact number. So I have 2 sig figs here and 3 sig figs here. I ignore these 2 1s, and I can only have 2 sig figs in my answer. So this rounds to 36. I drop this off. 36 liters. Pretty simple. All right, what about the next problem? I'm going to convert 3.78 meters to inches. So once again, I'm going to start with the number given, 3.78 meters over 1. And now I have to convert it to inches. So let's go back. If I know how many inches are in a meter or how many meters are in an inch, I can do that. And I look here, I have 12 inches in a foot. That's not inches to meter. I have 1 inch and 2.54 centimeters. That's not inches to meters. I also have meters in centimeters. So I don't have anything on this page that tells me inches to meters, but the closest thing I have here is I do have centimeters to inches, but I didn't start with centimeters. I started with meters. Well, then you have to realize you can't do this in one step. You might have to do this in more than one step. So you might want to plot out, even before you write all your fractions down, how are you going to go from meters to centimeters? Well, I'm probably going to use this somewhere, centimeters to inches, and I can go meters to centimeters, and then centimeters to inches. So you might want to kind of diagram that out. I'm going to start with meters. I can convert that to centimeters, and then I can convert that to inches. So in your head, or write it down, how are you going to get from meters to inches in case there is not a conversion directly given to you from meters to inches? So this is my path that I'm going to go. I'm going to go first from meters to centimeters. So once again, I have to decide which goes on the top and the bottom. I want to get rid of meters. So I have 1 meter on the bottom and 100 centimeters on the top. If I stopped right there, my answer would be in centimeters, but I don't want it in centimeters. I want it in inches. And I go back to my conversions. They're 2.54 centimeters in 1 inch. So I put the centimeters on the bottom and 1 inch on the top. So centimeters cancel. I'm left with inches. That's good. Now I just need to get my calculator out. 3.78 times 100 divided by 2.54. And that gives me 148.81889, lots of units, lots of digits, inches. But I can't leave it like that because that looks like I have a crazy amount of significant figures when I really don't. I started with 3.78 meters, and that's 1, 2, 3 significant figures. The one on the bottom doesn't count. This is a definition. 1 meter exactly equals 100 centimeters, so I don't have to worry about sig figs there. But going from metric to English is a measured value, so I do have to worry about this 2.54, which has 3 sig figs. So I have 3 sig figs here, 3 sig figs here. I can have 3 sig figs in my answer. So that comes down to 140. I have to round up, 149 inches. There you have it. All right, the last one I have is a double unit conversion. I'm going to convert something which is a density. This happens to be the density of aluminum in grams per milliliter. And I want to change that to a density in pounds per liter. So now I have to do this separately, or I'm actually going to do it together. You can divide this up and go from grams to pounds and then milliliters to liters and then divide the two. Or you can leave it all as one, which I'm going to do here, but you can have the option. Change 2.7 grams to pounds, and then change 1 milliliter to liters, and then divide the two. But look, I can actually still do this together. So I'm going to take this 2.7 grams over 1 milliliter. And notice I don't have to put 1 on the bottom because it's already a fraction. And the one on the bottom has a unit, it's in milliliters. Now I want to get rid of grams and milliliters to give my answer. So I want to go from grams to pounds. It would be really easy if there's a conversion that's directly from grams to pounds. Let's see if there is. Give you a second and look. Is there a gram to pound conversion on this page? There is gram to pound right here. There's 454 grams in 1 pound. So, which one goes on the bottom? Think about that. The grams have to go on the bottom. 454 grams are in 1 pound. Here the grams cancel. Pounds is what we want in our answer, so I don't want to cancel that out. So I want to leave this alone. But I still want to cancel out the milliliters because I don't want that. I want liters on the bottom instead. Well, you can look this up because I think it's here. Or you should know this already. There are 1,000 milliliters in 1 liter. So that's something you should know or put on your 3x5 card. Now this is tricky. I want to get rid of milliliters. So where do I put the milliliters? I put it on top so that they cancel and 1 liter on the bottom. So let's see, grams cancel, milliliters cancel. I did not cancel pounds. I did not cancel liters. So my answer is going to be in pounds per liter, which is what I want. So now you get out your calculator, 2.7 divided by 454 times 1,000 equals 5.9471365. You keep going, but you don't have to because that indicates we have lots of sig figs, which we don't. We actually only have 2 in this first number. The 1 doesn't count. This 1 doesn't count, but the 454 does count because that's between metric and pounds. That's not a definition. Somebody had to measure that. That's 3. This is a definition. There's exactly 1 liter in 1,000 milliliters by definition. So I have 2 sig figs here, 3 sig figs here, so I can only have 2 in my answer. So that gives me 5.9 pounds per liter. I hope you followed along. We'll do some more in class. Thanks for listening.